to podcast episode for today. This week is Nigeria's elections period, and we are glad that we have two amazing guests in the house. Please try and vote, and we hope. I think by just try and vote. By the time you're seeing this, we're expecting that you voted or that you'll be planning to vote or something like that. So I have two amazing guests here, and the topic for today is money mania and broke shaming in Nigeria. You have a whole lot of people saying things like, don't call me if you don't have money. The guys are saying they want to make money before they get married and things like that. The ladies are saying you should not even enter their DMs if you don't have money. The politicians are saying, not the politicians are not even saying anything. They are showing us that most of them do not really care except for the funds. We have a system and a society that is tied around cash, money. And the funniest thing is this obsession with money does not correlate with the inputs. One would think that Nigeria's love for money will correlate with the amount of industries we have, the amount of production that goes on. But the funniest thing is that this money, we are loving this money without production happening. So I have two amazing guests here. I have with me Mr. Segun Oluwalano and Folakemi Odula. You guys will introduce yourselves quickly.
So my name is Segun Oluwalano. Most people call me Seamless. Some people don't even know my name, they call me Seamless. So Seamless is the name of my brand. It's a fashion brand. And we make majorly men's wear. We dabble into female wear. Yeah, we made clothes for quite a number of movies. Our first Netflix movie is coming out soon, where we're featured. So that's that. And I studied accounting in school. I've once worked in auditing, audited companies like Dangote, SkyMeet, and Lagos State Pension Commission, and a few like that. So that's my background. Accounting is my background. Fashion is my main now.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Folakemi Odulaja, and I'm a business associate development at a real estate firm. I've been doing real estate for roughly about 3 years now. I studied sociology, and I feel like what I've learned in school would give us a little perspective on our topic today.
Excellent, guys. Thank you very much for choosing to be around. Now, let me start quickly. I will start with Folakemi now. We've seen how society regards people that don't have money. Trust me, it has happened even in religious places, religious gatherings. You can easily tell those who have money. It has happened in schools. You can easily tell those that have money. It's difficult to, hear people's praise, people started from the bottom. So I want to ask, why is it that we shame people who don't have as much as we expect them to? Plus, who is even putting these expectations? Why are we so crazy about money in Nigeria? What is going on? So I want to ask Folakemi first. Ladies sometimes have been accused of broke shaming. So I'm sure you would, instead of us throwing blames, agendas, and things like that, I'm sure you want to give us a perspective. What started it? You understand by broke shaming and money mania today?
Okay, so like we know what shaming means. It means to humiliate someone. When you broke shame a person, it means that you are humiliating somebody because of their financial status, or because they appear to seem like they don't have a stable financial status. It doesn't necessarily mean that this person is not financially okay, but because they appear to not seem financially okay, you begin to shame them, humiliate them because they cannot afford certain things and they don't have money. Let me put it easily that way.
Okay, so what about the money mania now? I'm glad you've mentioned the broke shaming parts. Now, money mania, the craze for money. Why? Before, our parents used to teach us when we were kids that you don't collect money from strangers. Those basic tenets that we grew up with. Why? What happened today? Even now, nobody wants to hear anything if it's no money. Don't enter my DM if it's no money. Don't call me if it's no money. What is going on? Why? What do you think is going on?
I don't in our society today we've monetized money. Like everything is all about money. We worship money. We feel like the only source of happiness is money. The only thing that can bring satisfaction is money. Like we've made money the center of everything.
Thank you very much for this insightful addition. That was very insightful. Seamless, you studied accounting, you've audited, you've handled money, you're a businessman. Firstly, you are someone who has, you're someone who understands process. To start a business, you need to plan certain things, you need to follow certain structures, you need to follow leads, you need to turn those leads to customers. For somebody like you, you can't afford to be money centric about everything. Else, you probably lose certain value perception you're building for your brand. Now, I want to ask you, what is book shaming to you? What do you understand by it? How have you experienced it as a businessman and someone who has handled some kind of level of accounting? Book shaming and money mania.
Okay, so I'll the brief shaming. I'll explain that with something that happened to me. So early on when I first started the business, like I think my first year, I didn't sell more than just one suit. The whole year, I didn't make anything, just one suit. Then as time went on, things started getting better gradually. But I wasn't used to, at the time things were getting better, I wasn't used to looking like what I had. So when I got a car, I was still used to dressing anyhow to the market because I'm going to the market now. So I'll pack all the fabrics, I'll pile them up, and I'll be carrying everything on my head and be looking funny. And I didn't get used to, when you now have a car, you have to. So while I was carrying the fabric, I'm sorry, this may look like I'm pointing finger at the opposite sex now. So while I was carrying the fabric coming out of the market, all rumpled up and sweaty, I mistakenly stepped my foot on a lady. The way she looked at me, I can't forget. This is like 4 years ago. The way she looked at me, I just said sorry. And I carried my load and I went to my car. I put everything in the boot and I was about to drive, entered the driver's seat to drive. She now saw me again, her countenance changed. I just shook my head and I looked at myself and said, hey, you safe. So when it comes to broke shaming, sincerely speaking, it is, to an extent, Nigeria is like an irony. The values we were brought up with don't look like how we are acting now. We are the same ones that talk about, if it's not money, don't call me, money, time is money, blah, blah, blah. But we are the same type of people that love pulling down the rich, pulling down successful people. We take joy. So if you want to go through one part, you will not be able to tackle the issue. But if you understand us as a whole, you understand that these people are weird. And to an extent, because of this whole money mania, many of us did not have time to really settle on values. I can say for we guys, many guys are lonely because they are pursuing after money. It's not wrong to make money, but because of the way it is and how we have allowed society influence us, we are more after the money than values. That's why sometimes you see that somebody this rich is talking like he doesn't have anything of say. And like, you think money is by wisdom. It's not really. It's not really, but because of how would I put it now? Because of the way the craze. Okay, should I say that one of the things that has affected us is we are a country that has jumped various steps to where we are. There's the agrarian age, there's the industrial age, and there's the information age. We didn't reach 15% of the agrarian age. we didn't kiss the industrial age.
I think it was oil.
Do you understand?
I think the oil just shut us up.
And boom, we already have telephones. Boom, we already have internet. Boom, we are like that child
It was
that was given his inheritance very early.
The oil.
So all those things affected a lot of things that were not able to grow. If you read the story of Singapore today, their values are entrenched in where they are today. That is why no prime minister of Singapore, in fact, the least person in their government has two PhDs.
So I don't want you to finish your bullets yet. You are going somewhere. Now the thing is, you said something about the irony in our society, and a child that was given a gift, it doesn't understand its value. Oil. We saw what oil did to Dubai, UAE. We see what oil did to Saudi Arabia. Look at what oil is doing to us. We are currently, sadly and tragically, poverty capital of the world as of last year. So the irony is, with so much money around, with houses in Banana Island, that was why when I sent you guys the background, I said inflated prices that do not correlate to present value. There is so much money in Nigeria circulating. Even the CBN said it. They can't get a hold of the money. It's getting out of their hands. Is it that? I don't know. I want you guys. The next question is: are there examples in our society and their root causes? I think the money is so much. The money mania is so much that we have a funny and unusual industry. For example, if you pick Falakes into real estate, somebody tweeted something a few weeks ago rather, that are they telling him, that was like, said, are you telling me, on quote, that I cannot get a 450,000 naira house in Lekki? So the question is the money mania giving us a false sense of market value on the things we produce? Because the sense of our production, meaning nobody wants to cater for the poor, the lower class, the middle class. People just want to cater for the rich. So even the real estate is looking that way too.
Yes.
There's a housing deficit in Nigeria rather. Yet we have houses going into 1 billion naira in Banana Island. We have restaurants that barely cater for people's needs. But people cannot say, bro, this thing where I chop for this restaurant, nice, I don't like it. But because we are scared of being broke shamed, and because for like I said, our status symbols, the broke shaming concept has also affected the average Nigerian man's esteem. Trust me, Nigerians make very interesting customers. Let me explain why I said so. You can give the Nigerian man food in a very expensive, highbrow environment. The Nigerian man will rarely stand up and give you feedback instantly because he's scared of hearing things like, of course, I know that businesses that pride themselves over building proper value, but the Nigerian person will rarely want to throw back and say things like, I don't like what I ate here. They will keep quiet. It's my money. I don't know if you guys are getting where I'm driving at.
Yeah, that's perfect.
We are scared of broke shaming that we can't even say that we can't afford certain things. Guys will take ladies on dates that they can't afford and get stuck there. We get to restaurants, we eat things we don't like, we can't give feedback. We see markets with overly inflated prices, and you're asking yourself, what is going on? Who is this for? Who is this? What markets is the Nigerian real estate? Okay, Lagos real estate, for example. Who is the who is the audience? Who's the target? Is this target 1 billion naira? These are the serious questions. So I want to ask you guys, are there examples in our society and root causes? Seamless, you already gave a very intelligent one. I mean, you were going to the market. Folakemi, the ladies tend to be very vocal about their broke shaming. Men do too. So it is not going to be a gender thing. Men do. Men shame
No,
themselves.
men do too.
Men shame themselves. So I want to ask you, being a lady, how do you see that broke shaming dynamic? Like, I don't know, do ladies do things like my hair? Oh, my hair, do you know how much my hair is? I don't know, do you guys do something on my bag? Like, how does classism work with you guys in ladies? I want to hear it.
Okay, so for the ladies, is quite it's quite funny. Like some of the things that you've mentioned, my hair. If you can't afford certain kinds of hair, or you're just a broke girl, they'll go all the way and shame you. See this broke bitch, because you can't even afford bone straight. You can't do this, and these people, not because they don't have the money, but they have priorities, other priorities. You shame them. They're not wearing the latest designs. They can't afford to make their hair every week. They're not wearing the latest things in town. They're not carrying the latest bags, and then you shame them. But in real sense, we know that women will shame men more. I know of certain ladies that, or a clique of friends, they always go out to restaurants to eat like every weekend, or go clubbing every weekend, and all these things comes with bills. There are certain amounts that you have to pay. You go to elite clubs to hang out, and mind you, some of them even go for ulterior motives to meet the big men out there, and then they tax themselves. Oh, we'll spend this so certain amount of money. Some of these girls will go all the way to even borrow money just to be able to go out. And if you cannot afford it, you say, oh, I'm not going this weekend. What's happening? You cannot dare open your mouth to say, oh, it's because I can't afford it, or it's because I don't have money. They will shame you. In fact, they will even chase you out of their clique. Yeah, I can't be friends with broke people. You're so broke, they would shame you so bad. And it even now enters into the workplace as well. If you don't do certain things, if you don't wear certain things to work, they look at you by how you are dressed, the kind of hair that you wear, the kind of bag that you carry. They see if you jump bus to work, or you take Uber to work. They don't even mind if your house is close or far. All of these things sort of affects women, and their self-esteem. You begin to look down yourself. Sometimes you don't even know what some of these women do to get the money they spend. You that you're a 9 to 5 babe, you're working, you're trying to save, you're trying to send yourself to school for the education, and somebody's here saying, oh, we're going for one vacation at so beach, we're going to this, and we're going to spend so money. You can't even say, that's why it's hard for some women to make friends, because it is expensive to be friends with certain people, and then it affects you. I don't know, it makes some women feel very low, look down on themselves, and except for people that know their priorities. Oh, I know that this is what I have to do, this is where I want to be. People, married women do it, not just single people.
Thank you very much. You give us hot thought actually, because it's interesting seeing it from a lady's world, a lady's perspective. Pressure, breaking self-esteem because of this broke shaming thing, and the money craze. I want to ask, is there a psychology, is there a motivation, is there something? I'm going to start with seamless now. Is there a motivation around this thing? Is there something pushing people to want to live up to this expectation? Is it that technology is shortening the process of results and feeding it to us? Or is it that we are no longer patient people? Or is it that we are actually just feeding into a culture of greed? Seamless. I want to know what do you think is the motivation behind this whole thing?
It still boils down to the values. Now, all of a sudden, Mark Zuckerberg created a website, and boom, he's already a billionaire. In quote, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Warren Buffett, who he did not make his first billion until he was 60. The remaining 80 something billion came after 60. What you will not know is that the experience that man has gathered all over those years, even if Elon Musk is the richest man in the world today, he doesn't have that. Whether we hear this outside or not, he still goes for advice from all these people. Mark Zuckerberg will still go to all these older guys for advice. So, in my own opinion, it's mostly values. When we get things right, we will not see this as because how do I put it now again? I want to use examples so that we understand these things. Okay, my dad was giving an example somewhere else, and he was talking about his sons, and like those boys, they will not want, as far as they are concerned, where me have gotten to is the least. He was trying to define how maybe he sees us as being ambitious, but true. The house rent I'm paying now, my father never paid that in his life till he built his house.
Blame it on inflation.
But yeah, partly inflation, and some of the sales I make, my dad will be saying, you made this? Really? Are you sure? But does that mean now that I am wiser than him?
Values.
You see, goes down. I don't know if you get. You see, goes down to values. Broke shame. My former landlord used to tell me this, that forget about the challenges of life. Keep planning. Keep working.
You said something about, you compare your dad. You saw the whole evolution, in terms of generational values. And something was constant. You said something about Zuckerberg and Warren Buffett as well. And the fact that these people have money doesn't change their respect and that value. While we may have challenges, what your dad found challenging is time. Might not be what you're finding challenging, but it doesn't still mean that those same values cannot get you through the challenges you are facing today. So, like you said, you just mentioned relationship with their rise fashion with somebody, and you mentioned some other things that kept you relationship. It's like our new values, which we are holding tight to, will not keep us. Maybe that is why most of us are going through some certain mental resilience to go through certain challenges. If we just help, the fact that somebody made some people tell you they made 1 million in 2 days, it doesn't necessarily mean that the man who has a bungalow far away, the values he's trying to teach you would not be useful to you in some way. But this idea of if it's no money, don't come, it dismisses the whole tenet of relationship. It means they are telling them you are not useful to me. Money is holding thing. And I want to, since Falakemi is a sociologist, I want to know, Falakemi, do you think there are other motivations?
Okay, so picking it up from the line of values, as simply as I said, in our society, our values have changed over time, and there's something that we call socialization in sociology. That's how you grow up. That's how you are being trained. It is, there's nature and there's nurture. Basically, that's the nurture aspect of a person's life. How you grow up, and what you become, the kind of values that you're told, what your society believes in. So as humans, we've grown up to see that people now give more relevance to people that have more money. Even in our churches, in religion, we see how I don't want to be specific on one religion, but we see how they treat people that have money and people that don't have money. Everywhere we go, there's this segregation that, this person has money, this person doesn't know. So seeing all those things, it will motivate you to want to chase money.
Why do you think we shame little beginnings then?
Yeah, because in our society now, the end justifies the means. So it doesn't matter how you make it. As long as you make it in the end and you have money, they don't care about how you what the processes that you went through, how you got this and that. And that's why you see a young girl or a young guy comes home and gives his parents a certain amount of money, maybe like a 20-year-old or a 19-year-old comes home and gives mommy 100K, and mommy is not even bothered about how you got this money. Back in the days, you can't do that. You explain how you got the money. As far back as I don't know how many years ago, but back then, if you come home, your father will be the one to report you to the police that this boy done a thief. I beg, get me all out. I don't know how you got this money. Where did you get this money? But now they will even be the one telling you, we need money, we need this. So there's a lot of pressure that we put on people having money, getting money, even our families. Our families, they broke shame. Oh. If you don't know, they will broke shame you because they only prioritize people that have money. So it comes from everywhere. The pressure is too much and it motivates people to want to do by any means to get money. That's why you say 17-year-old boy that wants to drive Benz, you want to skip the process because he saw one man that's worked for over 30 years before he can afford that car. You want to, at your age, you want to drive that car because it gives you class. It gives you, so it's just a whole lot of pressure and it makes people want to do what they're not supposed to.
Thanks a lot. Let me ask Seamless this question. Seamless, so where do you think we learned this from them? If our parents were all great, wise with the values, where did we now learn this thing from? For like I said, socialization, meaning we acquired this behavior from somewhere, right? Where did we learn it from? If our parents all, did well in terms of their values. So where did we learn all this shaming people because they are? You imagine shaming a teacher that is earning 50K. Imagine shaming somebody who's earning 30K. Where did we learn it from?
I will now put that into another perspective because looking at that, let's look at it as a leadership problem. A leadership problem. The tout outside on the street is coming from a home, isn't it? The prostitute is coming from your home. The hardworking guy that's still trying but has still not made it is coming from your home. The hardworking one that is trying and has not made it but is now dabbling his hand into funny things is coming from your home. Then we have also leaders in the society. And we are social animals. So wisdom permeates through us. Like we just observe and we see, okay, this is how it is. And that many of us learned. In fact, a child doesn't learn by this is what you should do. A child learns by what he sees people do.
Yes, what they see.
You can talk from now till next year. Once he observes that this is how they run up, himself with a runner like that. You get so it's a leadership problem we have seen over decades. That's why it is worse for the Gen Z. I mean, what is their name? Is it not Gen Z?
Yes, so Generation Z.
You see, they've seen decades of leaders who nobody is sure of whether they went for NYC or university, but they are billionaires. They have money. Nobody, in fact, a lot of people in politics, nobody knows where they made money from. A lot of rich people in the environment, nobody knows where they made money from. How many of our rich people have written books on success or any book at all?
That can be duplicated.
Individuals in this country have written any book. In fact, let them be talking and let people be writing for them. How many? No. The ones who have learnt good values are scared that they will look different if they stand on those values.
Seamless, I'm glad you're saying this now because we're about to even move into the consequences of this pandemic. The consequences of putting money first before value. I think it blinds.
Before we move to
yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that media, is also adding to the
Music,
reasons for it.
especially.
Yeah, especially the music industry. You see them singing about, all this, they promote it. They even promote fraudulent acts. They hype these people. Or even imagine, you as certain weekends, maybe after a long week, and you decide to just go to a lounge and you want to just relax and all, and to just breathe, take in some fresh air. You hear the hype man and he comes and say, now Yahoo boy, they can come for you. Civil
Hype man will
servant,
send
come
a lot of people
ahead.
to
Come
hell.
here. Hype man will finish you there.
Hmm.
So you can imagine all these things are just, our media is not trying at all, especially
They are
the
not.
music industry.
I agree.
Is
To an
helping.
extent, I feel, sorry for cutting, to an extent, I feel we have a lot of work on our hands, on also how to raise our children. We will be trying to make money full time, build a career full time, and also train these people full time. These people that were ailing, all the musicians, almost all of them were ailing this guy in Dubai before they caught him.
Hush puppy.
He has gone to prison and everybody's quiet. Imagine my own staff trying to broke shame me.
Ah,
All my before I started
the
my film.
nerve.
So in their mind, they have arrived.
They are
How
paying
will
their
make the person
salaries.
paying you
They are,
not be able
they
to?
are, they are paying their salaries and are broke shaming you for not using
You
a
can
nice
see that.
People have so much guts.
the nerve.
So you can see that is a lot value system in this country. It is practically depleted. It's on minus.
Okay, Portable now, for example, allegedly, with this is rip me. Somebody gave him money, I think money that was supposed to be redeemed in exchange for real cash. Because since people don't spray cash in parties again, they gave him printed tokens, paper tokens,
Yes.
that he was sprayed on. And they were advising him, please go and redeem this money. He said, no, they go rip me, Dude now packed printed paper. Boom. That's no money. You could have redeemed it. I don't know if you guys are getting the whole thing now. So sometimes this obsession with money has landed people in relationships they're not supposed to be in deals they're not supposed to be in relationship they're not supposed to be in, even in circumstances they're not supposed to, because it has blinded clarity. Of course, for people who are listening, we're not saying money is not important, but putting it first is very dangerous. And with this, I'm going to ask you guys the last question, I think. How do we solve this problem as a nation? Because it's even blinding our electorate's clarity. If you give somebody money now, they're not thinking again. So how do we solve it? How do we truly, we cannot necessarily reset everything, because the truth is, honestly, people are making money from their PCs. Yes, you can make instant money now without going to the farm. I'm not saying you should not go to the farm, but there are smarter ways. We should not be too obsessed and romanticize the past too much that we forget that there is also beauty in the opportunities of the present and the future. There are things that are giving people money very fast now. So the question is now, how do we marry the two generational opportunities or generational values together? Let me start with you, please.
So for me, I believe that it has to start on a personal level. First off, people have to change their mindset towards money and how they view money and the amount of importance that they give to money. Money is certainly not everything. However, it is very important, but it is not everything there is to life. Money is just a means to live life, to have a good life as well. But that's not what life it is. It's on its own head as well. So we have to have a decent approach in getting this money that everybody's after, everybody's chasing money. Have a decent approach to it. And I feel like the society should have a way of rewarding people that are doing the right things and trying to get money in the right way. Reward these people, compensate them, publicly acknowledge them. Oh, these people have dignity of labor. This man works diligently. This woman is a hard worker, does the right thing. is patient, does not jump the gun. Because our society praise people that have money, whether you go through the right means or not, they will praise you as long as you have the money at the end of the day. So society has to change that narrative, and begin to encourage these people. That way, people begin to have a change of heart that, oh, I think this way is better, this way is better. And then contentment is key as well. Everybody needs to be contented with what they have. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to be better or get better. But contentment is different from being desperate and wanting to do whatever it takes to get money. Be content with what you have. Not everybody can be Dangote. So just be good on your own. And then as a nation, I feel like this change has to begin with our politicians. Whether we like it or not, they have a big influence in how people view money and why there's a lot of a rage for money and desperation for money. And then women too. I feel like women to have a strong effect in men, pushing men to want to do things that they ought not to do to get money because of how much they shame them. And it's evident in our relationships and even marriages. All this narrative has to change. It's not all about money.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. We all needed that actually in our souls, in our heart. Seamless, what do you have to say? Closing remark.
Just like I said, a tout is coming from a home. Everyone is coming from a home. The home is a microcosm of what the nation should be like. So if we can fix our little bit, those of us that see what is wrong, work hard and build ourselves to an extent whereby we become influential. Whether we like it or not, some people will still want to take after us. Whether we like it or not. Because there's one thing that I love about Chinese people. Do you know that the Chinese people, when they start a company, they start with a 200-year plan. With a 200-year plan. Many of the people that started the company with the vision did not see more than 80 years, but they had that plan. Their unborn children were already planted within the plan. Many of the people that really understand responsibilities, that have come to understand within our Nigerian state, are people who did not come from, in quotes, silver spoon homes, where they have to cater for their family and their younger ones. People who their parents died at an early age. Maybe single mothers who had a child at a young age. Have you ever wondered that a teacher who earns 40,000 naira salary has a wife and 3 children, and the family are eating well,
and they have a property?
And
I have seen some of them are landlords.
As at the time we started working, their salary was just reaching 100,000, but they bought land, they built houses. I don't know things that we need to learn from these people. It is unbelievable for a young man now to think he can manage his family with a 200k salary.
Honestly,
it's like we're building ourselves to not need human beings again, to not need ourselves.
Exactly.
As antisocial. Yes.
Exactly.
Self-sufficiency can also be dangerous because we are social beings. We are social beings. We need each other to flourish, to bloom. I'm sorry, but this conversation, we can't let it drift, but you guys were so amazing.
No
Trust me, guys, if you're watching this, please try and subscribe, like, and share, because these are amazing guys and they have dropped a whole lot. And I just want to tell them thank you for being here, and Jesus, you guys are amazing. Falake, what do you have to say?
Oh, well, everything is not money. Let's just make it calm down. This pressure is too what? Let's not put pressure on ourselves. Let's not lose sight of who we are in pursuit of money.
Seamless, what do you have to say quickly?
So basically, I would just like to say that we should try and be more intentional about our living. Let's question things more. Why? I'm not saying we should point fingers at people. And let's question them in our minds. Why do I do this thing? Let's be very intentional. Then we'll now start figuring out ourselves. A lot of us don't even know ourselves yet. So let's be more intentional. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much, guys. And for every other person out there, I'll just say, let us, since we are trying to build a new value system, let's just be more, let's be careful what we validate. Because the honest truth is, we have encouraged certain things. Maybe that is why some people think going to have a date in a certain restaurant under certain budgets is terrible. That is why I think we should be careful with the kind of values we encourage, be it in men or be it in women, because the honest truth is there are consequences. So let's just not necessarily return, but let us just value people once more than things. Thank you very much, and I want to say have a very blessed weekend, and please go out and vote. If you're watching this on Friday, God bless everyone. Thank you, Seamless. Thank you for liking me, guys. You're awesome. Bye.